One of the most famous mitzvot in the Torah occurs this week, and what Rabbi Akiva famously says is that Klal Gadol, the organizing principle of the Torah. You should love your neighbor as yourself. The first half of the line deserves, well, maybe not the same amount of attention, but attention. That's the second part of the verse. The first part of the verse is Lo Titor. It says, don't take vengeance against, and don't hold a grudge against your people. You should love your neighbor as yourself. I am Adonai. So what does the first half of the verse have to do with the more famous second half? I mean, first of all, taking vengeance, holding a grudge. What's the difference? The Talmud defines this as, if your neighbor, you and your neighbor are talking, and one day you go to your neighbor and you say, can I borrow your rake? They say no. The next day your neighbor comes to you, and they say to you, can I borrow a shovel? And you say, well, no, you wouldn't lend me your rake, so I won't lend you my shovel. That's vengeance. What's a grudge? It's a grudge is if your neighbor comes to you the next day and says, I want to loan you my shovel. Could I borrow a shovel from you? And you say, I will loan you the shovel, unlike the way you treated me yesterday when you wouldn't loan me your rake. That's holding a grudge. Different things, but don't do either of them. What's the connection in the back half of the verse? It's not clear. I want to suggest that's part of how we love our fellow as ourselves. Part of how we accomplish this is by not taking vengeance, not holding a grudge. By the way, that means not treating people always the way they deserve to be treated, but treating them with greater kindness than that. Even when you can feel justified in doing so, treat them with greater kindness. That is part of the secret to how we love others as ourselves, because we want to be forgiven for our own missteps and pettinesses the same way. Shabbat Shalom.